Cool.
Hit that. I'm gonna do the music in post because it's better that way.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so here is our little thing. This is Black in the Bay. Welcome. My name is Reg Clay. We've got in the house. All right, this is Black in the Bay. This is a podcast where we explore social, political, and philosophical issues through the African American lens. We'll hit some current events, have some fun, and get deep on some far-reaching issues. We invite everybody to listen. You don't have to be Black to listen. Honest, you don't. But if you have a Black friend, relative, or loved one, and we're curious about the Black perspective, it's time to put on your headphones, or you're checking us out via the video, via Zoom, and check us out, Black in the Bay. And we have a fantastic guest. Yeah. We've got Jamela Mitchell. Jamela, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We're talking about Sistahs, and, I guess hopefully we'll have other people join, but it may just be you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Let's see. Well, I am a artist. I'm an actor full-time. So by Instagram, it's Jamela Asha. Jamela_Asha. And we're all waiting for Hollywood to open back up. But in the meantime, everybody's just at home. So actually what I was doing earlier was just proofreading a play that that I'm about to submit to a contest. So, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm an actor, writer, right now, that's about it. That is what I am. I am an actor, full-time writer. So
right on.
Are you getting the AFTRA? What's that money that people been getting? There's a check for like a settlement check that people were getting for the COVID situation.
Oh, it's like a stimulus check for SAG-AFTRA?
Yeah, I know my musician guys are getting an AFTRA, some kind of AFTRA check. But what about the actors?
Really good to know. Well, when it broke and everybody, when the decision came down that everybody was going to, have to stay at home, I certainly applied, and I've checked back twice since then, and there's been no reply. But so I just thought, okay, maybe they, ran out of funds, or I don't know. But now that I clearly hear that it's being received,
right.
I'll have to go and check back, because I actually did get a chance to speak to actual people. Because how, that whole with like EDD, it's like a automated system, but no, they're actually available. So yes, I did apply for the SAG-AFTRA fund. And nope, have not. I've been getting the pandemic stimulus, everybody else.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be something to check up on, because I had a sister. She's not involved in the arts at all, but there's some folks who are getting stimulus checks. There's some folks who aren't, and I imagine maybe there's some. I know that the IRS, they've been very. I don't know. I think everyone, including SAG-AFTRA, is short-staffed. So, but obviously, I think that would be something to follow up on, because obviously you deserve it.
I already have an application. That's so glad I'm on this call.
Yeah, and it's cool to hear that you're an artist as well. I've been submitting plays as well. I'm a playwright as well, and I had a reading about 2 weeks ago on my play. It's a sort of a take on Bertolt Brecht's Fear and Misery in the Third Reich, but applying it to Trump. And I had a interview with a group called Bindlestiff Studios, and so they're going to be sponsoring my next one-act play. So all of us are putting our stuff in. I think of us artists, whether it be musicians or writers, singers, or whatever, we put ourselves out in the universe and we see who will collect it, and what'll happen. So
So
I'm sorry, go ahead, Will. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, what do you think of this time right now creatively?
Me, it's a lot of material. It's a lot of material. One part of it is, especially being an actor, what the hell is everybody doing but sitting at home watching TV? You know what I mean? So the demand for new content was definitely there, and it's definitely going to be there for years to come. And with that, now that everybody's all woke, I hate to be all cynical, but
I love the air quotes.
bruh, but I'm down here. I mean, it's a very different culture from the Bay. It's a very different culture.
You're in LA. You're in LA, Jamela?
Yeah, I'm in LA proper. So the mentality is really, really interesting. It's not like the Bay. It's not like San Francisco, where it's very small. Like the Bay is more like a suburby, but it's still kind of small and like neighborhoody.
Yeah.
Real spread out, but it's just like San Francisco. It's a transplant city, so it's got these dense subcultures, really, really dense subcultures. When it comes to that camera, though, very, very interesting. So I'm trying not to be skeptical. So and I hear these platforms, and I see these platforms. Black Lives Matter. We stand for blah blah blah.
Right.
But yeah, I've been on black and white stages. I have been on black sound stages where it's a black show because everybody above and below the line are all black. I've been a while ago, like one background person of color.
Wow.
In a whole, on a whole set, and like maybe two in the crew. I mean, you know what I mean? So
I wonder if this is going to, because I've been seeing people saying we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to start opening up for more African Americans to do, in whatever industry you're in. So I'm wondering about Hollywood. Is Hollywood going to really make a push to pivot to making more, to hiring more folks?
Yeah, I was thinking about. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I was gonna put some sunshine on it, if I may, put some hope on it, because that's all I have. I mean, I'm saying like that's what we have. It's this wait and see. So number one, we know that the thirst for content, is definitely gonna be there because people are watching everything and they're gonna run out of stuff. There's gonna be a need for more material.
Right.
I am hoping that this also means more people of color, specifically Black people, since we see all these awesome, Black shows, will be included more, not just above the line, but below the line.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to there being more jobs available for us. And I hate to say it so blatantly like that, but I mean, it's I'm certainly working and, trying to get cast myself. So that's just on the real, but I'd always take people back to, remember when the brilliant Issa Rae on the, red carpet, this was like, this was a while ago, somebody was like, oh, hey, who are you voting for? And she was just like, everybody Black.
There you go. Yeah, I was going to mention.
Fire.
Yeah, I was going to mention. There's Issa Rae. There's also, there are tons of Black men like Jordan Peele and Boots Riley, and I'm seeing sort of a Black renaissance of film. Now, maybe those are just the folks who are at the top of the crust, and there's still a bunch of other folks trying to fight in. But I get that feeling.
And they're still fighting. They're still fighting.
Yeah, I hear you. So do you think there's a newer renaissance, sort of the same thing that what happened in the 90s with Spike Lee, 90s, with Spike Lee and Reginald Hudlin and what's that kid who did Straight Outta Brooklyn? Matty Rich.
Yeah, Matty Rich, yeah. John Singleton, of course.
Yeah. Do you feel that way, Jamila, or do you feel, we've got a little taste, but there's still more to do? Jamila, you there?
Uh-oh.
Okay, maybe she'll pop back in. Welcome to technology, folks.
I know. I did hear a weird crash.
Yeah, I heard a crash too, and I see her mic is out. But in any
Um,
case, yeah. So what do you think, Will? I mean, do you think that we're entering a new renaissance?
you there?
Yeah.
Oh,
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 there you
there
are.
you
Yeah, Jamila. Did you hear the question? I can repeat it.
yeah. And I was like, wait, how
Oh, I think the powers that be got into your system.
what I was going to say was a simple sentence. You asked, do I think that what more POCs are going to do? I think that there's going to be like another Black Renaissance. The proof is in the pudding.
Mm,
It hasn't opened yet.
yeah.
So until contracts start flowing, this is just assumption,
Right.
Yeah.
because right now, and maybe some like big name working director, if like they were on here with you, or some big time actor, if they were on here with you, they could be like, oh yeah, the contracts are flowing in, oh my god.
Right.
That's me right now.
Mm-hmm.
So all I can say is we will see.
But see, this also brings into question about what we were just talking about. We were saying that this could possibly create a renaissance
I
for
think so.
black directors, black producers. So my thing is, instead of trying to wait on those folks, why don't we, the encompassing all of we, decide to correct creating media for us? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I see Boots Riley doing stuff. I'm like, Boots, are you hiring a black, script supervisor? Are you hiring a black, production coordinator? Like, who are these folks that are doing media that could supply jobs for African Americans?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also who's getting the, because it's, everything is powered by money. So, who are getting the loans, or, who are the angels who are, supplying,
Right.
Boots Riley, or who's the individual who did blind spotting? I forget who did that.
Oh yeah. From Berkeley High. I just saw him in Wonder. Damn, who is it? Who
Yeah.
is it that?
I wish I was of help. I'm just
Hamilton. Hamilton.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
he was in Hamilton. He was in Wonder. He was in a bunch of, but like all those guys like Barry Jenkins,
mm,
who did Moonlight. Like all these guys, I feel like this is their time. This could be a time where they can get that money, and then to start developing these projects and really bringing folks in.
Yeah.
you know what I'm hoping though? I'm hoping that there's another thing that there's another way of thinking. I don't, for lack of eloquence, that I'm hoping has been disrupted, and that is,
Mm,
should there be a Black person or person of color that can be granted these productions and these fundings, it's a handful,
right.
and they always go back to that one handful,
Yeah.
and there's like a whole bunch of us. You know what I mean? So really talented people. I sincerely hope that they continue to produce, and to get to produce more. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I really, really hope that a lot of us other people, can have a chance. I see it, I see it on Hulu's platform, Netflix platform, Actors Equity, which is a huge thing. I'm like looking at their emails, and they're like, we, take diversity seriously.
right.
Bruh, I've been to those calls.
Right.
I've been to those flipping calls, and I'm praying that they see outside of their white casting for particular characters. And I'm praying that they take a chance,
Right.
And choose a person of color. Again, putting a positive spin on it. I'm hoping that Black voices and POC voices really do have spaces to
Right.
be heard and to be seen.
Well, my thing is about this too, and speaking of that, we were talking about David Diggs. That's the guy who was who did Blind Spotting.
Did you Google that?
David Diggs.
No, I was. Did you
Oh,
Google it? Oh.
yes, I did Google it.
There you go.
So I think what's happening right now is even a little bit scary because I think there's sort of this marketing thing that everyone's using for the Black Lives Matter movement, which could be a little destructive because it's like saying what's that? What, gluten free, you know?
Yeah,
So Black
comes
Lives
almost.
Matter is the new gluten free.
Yeah, it's almost like a Pepsi logo or something like that. Like people just slap it on and they don't even realize, what it's a fad, and you wonder, can it go beyond the fad?
And see
Right.
that's just it. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And like this conversation we're having here is the same conversation that's happening on NPR. I mean, I'm listening, and there's all this speculation. Hey, how long do you think this is going to last? How long do you think this is going to, and nobody really knows.
Right.
And, rightfully so, what I hear is a lot of skepticism.
Yep.
I have a sort of an abstract question. It's something that we brought up when we did the George Floyd special, because I do wonder, like the explosion of protests and the explosion of emotions that happened after George Floyd's death is something that didn't happen with Ahmaud Arbery. It really didn't happen with Breonna Taylor, and that's the reason why Will and I thought about talking about women, because women are so underappreciated that Sandra Bland, hardly anyone remembers her anymore. But why do you think that we're having this sort of explosion of emotions and stuff? I mean, I've had just this week and also a little bit of last week conversations with white people, trying to explain their emotions, or them trying to say, hey, I'm not that type of an individual. And even they're trying to deal with this new era that we're in right now. But why do you think it's happening now instead of prior to that? Could it be COVID? Could it be the fact that we've been housed up and, just emotionally we're exploding? Or could George Floyd just be the last straw? What do you think, Jamela?
White people actually saw the killing.
Video.
They actually saw him alive and being killed, and then they saw his dead body. It was in real time. White people saw it, and I want to emphasize that, because for years in our little Black circles, we've always said white people have to take the lead in this change. We've been marching for centuries. We've been protesting for centuries. We've been boycotting for decades.
Yep.
What's it going to take? Nat Turner? Should we just start killing folks? I mean, we have been protesting for so long. It's white people that have to start speaking up, and they have to do it in droves. With Ahmaud Arbery, it's like they saw the killing. I mean, I just have to be visceral, with it, that they definitely saw it. I think it was, and with, I Can't Breathe, Lucy Cigarettes.
Yeah, in New York, Garner. I think it was Garner, yeah.
Yeah, Garner, Eric Garner. They also saw that. For some reason, because that was gruesome. That was incredibly gruesome. Right. And the chokehold, that was illegal then, but, I guess it wasn't.
And and the same goes with Breonna Taylor.
This was
the fact that
was up close and personal,
right?
And everybody's locked inside,
right?
I think the fact that everybody's locked inside was the linchpin.
But the Breonna Taylor thing disturbs me because we know what happened. We heard the accounts of what happened. We know exactly what the police did, but because we didn't physically see it, people are not taking it. People are taking it for granted. They're not really putting weight on it, and that's what makes me upset. Is that we've been telling these stories over and over and over, and people are like, "Well, I gotta see what happened."
Yeah, and it's also with Breonna Taylor. It's as if like who knows what the value of the black man is in America,
Right.
but the black woman, even, I mean, it doesn't matter that there's, Michelle Obama or, Oprah Winfrey or, and I've heard from my black female friends who say, I've got to press my hair, I've got to walk a certain way or act a certain way in
Mhm.
order to be even recognized. I mean, Jamila, as a black woman, how do you feel? Do you feel that you are, I don't know, validated in America?
Hmm.
I know it's a deep question. Jamila, you there?
Validated. Yes. Do you see me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm like, did I go anywhere? Okay. So validated. That's interesting because I feel like my validation is through a white lens.
Right.
So it's in the working place, mind you, now that I'm a full-time actor, I'm just, it's a slightly different environment. So I'll take it to me working in the corporate side. My validation came from what from what white people thought of me,
Mm.
and if I behaved often different, like outside of that, it was like, who? You're being fake, or I just don't. It just does not compute. You're supposed to be like,
Right.
hey, girl, like you're supposed
Wow.
to, like that is validated,
Wow. Yeah,
It's
like being
why
being
it
sort of
was.
like a caricature of yourself.
Oh no, totally,
Yeah.
totally character. I worked at this spot. I was the only brown skinned person outside of the security guards. When
Mhm.
I tell you I was treated thusly, oh, oh yeah, oh
Wow.
yeah. And I was so weird and different, because the
Because you
because
didn't
the
act like the typical, whatever the typical black person should act like.
the Real Housewives of Atlanta had like just taken off, and Nene was everything.
Wow.
And because I wasn't Nene, I just they just could not understand. I
But
go,
see,
sorry,
this
awful.
has been my whole entire life. Like growing up as a black nerd or as a was an artist, like I didn't like there was this post that someone put on Instagram saying, I don't wear Jordans and I never wore fancy blah 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 blah. I was like, yeah, me too. Like I wore Bugle Boy jeans. And I feel like people don't understand that we can be an anomaly. We can be spectrums of black, right? Or spectrums of who our culture is. And so that's really hard because when you try to show that, people go, nah, 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 come on, really, what?
Right. No, that's not how you really act. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now, yeah. So I mean, I only took it from a work experience. Are you speaking about like a personal between like black men and black women?
Well, sure, but I mean the whole gamut. I mean, what about your childhood? Like when you were growing up, did you grow up in I don't know a traditional black neighborhood or whatever? I mean,
Myself,
yeah.
no. Born and raised in San Francisco. Fortunately the family house is still there, 2 blocks from the Panhandle.
Nice.
Not a black neighborhood, definitely a black household, definitely lower working class household. But at the same time, I'm one of those people who used to walk 2 worlds. I danced professionally with the San Francisco Ballet for 7 years.
Wow.
um, yeah, but like as like a child, so from like age 7 to 14, very
Mhm.
very formidable years. So I was like, it was like school, regular public school, um ballet school, which was extremely white, extremely white,
Wow.
often the only brown person in class, and then to come home to lower middle class.
Wow.
So, and then what from there, went to the School of Arts, got involved in Wajumbe cultural institution in San Francisco. They took me to Nigeria, when I was like
Wow.
Wow, that's
18.
awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, I've kind of walked these two worlds that sort of kind of collide, but kind of like not. What I will say is being in the Bay and even though my household was lower middle class, there was a lot of emphasis on being proud to be a Black person. Lot of emphasis on that. Pictures on the wall. Like, I wonder, like, how many households have pictures on the wall besides, the trifecta, Jesus, JF Kennedy, and Martin Luther King,
Yep.
right? Like we had Stagecoach Mary on the wall. We had Buffalo Soldier on the wall.
Right on.
I mean, what I'm saying? But that
Yeah.
was all moms,
Yeah.
So, like,
Wow.
clearly instill in us, like, even, when we were just like kids, you could still look up and know that you came from greatness.
Now, so
Right.
I thought on the West Coast, because the East Coast, I actually had that because, we came from everyone went to a church and it was the chocolate city. But I always thought the West Coast, especially in the Bay Area, it would have been more Malcolm X or more Stokely Carmichael or Angela Davis. But you didn't have that?
Yeah, I mean, not to say that we had those images on the wall, but we were taught of them,
Right.
sure.
And again, the Bay Area is such a different kind of animal than most of the United States too.
I mean, the Black Panthers came out of Oakland, bruh.
Yeah. Yeah.
My name is Jamela. My sister's name is Asha. You know what I'm saying? Like we.
I hear you. I totally hear you. I totally hear you. It's funny when you were talking about being in the ballet. I went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts in Washington, D.C., and I remember speaking to the ladies in the dance department and how difficult it was. I mean, you have to keep your body, you have to maintain be small, and the pressure. And among, like 15, 14, 15-year-old girls was really, really immense. I mean, did you have to go through that as well, Jamila?
I know that I stopped going when I was 14, but I will say that 7, 8, 9, 10, they were weighing us.
Wow.
Wow.
They were weighing us, and I'm a size 0 now. I've always been this small. I'm just a small person.
Right.
And when you're a child, you don't know anything,
Right.
so it's not like I had like a chubby baby fat thing that I even would know about to even say, yeah, I went through that. But again, because I was a child, and this is what children do, you still intimate, yeah, you can still pick up on things that are happening in your environment. So what I'm trying to say is, even though they were weighing us at those very, very young ages, yes, I did see, and we all saw, some of the girls go home with notes,
Wow.
and they're like sad little girl faces, and like we were sad for them, like not still, I speak for myself, still like not being able to really understand, but knowing that was probably a note because she was on the chubby side,
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, years later, when I ended up dancing with, a couple of companies in the Bay, every now and then I would run into my old classmates, because we're all in San Francisco,
Right.
and they were like full grown, tall women, titties, ass, you know what I mean? And it's me.
I hear you. I hear you.
Like,
Yeah.
so like invariably I would get these looks like,
And who knows? There may have been a little bit of jealousy as well, because sometimes that does happen.
I mean, but I bounced from the ballet, like I said, when I was at 14. Now, well, like years later, only being able to verbalize the things that I was going through, like feeling like I did not belong, feeling like a token. I could never speak the word token because I didn't know what it was, but I knew how it felt.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty deep when you're a little kid and you already all of a sudden you know something's wrong. And because I talk about my middle school years right now, and I just like break down because I know something was off
Yeah.
about being the only kid in a school of white kids. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go through a little bit of that. I was in the third grade and my mom had moved to Maryland, and it was the first time me and being the only black kid among white kids. And of course, I guess because my grandmother, always had good diction, so I guess code switching was not even a thing because I just naturally spoke the way that I speak. But
right,
I imagine it had to have been difficult, being in that environment. But I was also thinking, I mean, girls are usually, I don't want to say sexualized, or they're judged by their bodies, or they're I mean, guys look at girls as early as, I don't know, 12, 11, or whatever. I mean, did you have to face any pressure as far as just dealing with guys, I don't know, being whistled at, or sexual harassment, anything like that, Jamila?
I mean, yeah. Are you talking about in the ballet, or just or
Well,
just
in general, I'll just say in general.
well, I was always small, and the guys generally looked at more fuller bodies, you know, but because probably because a large part of my young childhood was in the ballet, I had a early like work-minded focus,
mm,
you know. So I think that would kick in when I would see, an occasional guy in the neighborhood. There was just like one spot in the neighborhood where like the like thugs hung out,
right,
and like, we could all kind of, tell, even though my mom was like really strict, and we couldn't hang out after school, but like, we all could tell. Like I would have to go to the store, or like go to the wash house or something like that. They look and talk, but I wouldn't pay them any mind. And then it got real clear that I definitely need not to pay them any mind, because I started hearing about my like junior high classmates getting pregnant
Ooh,
oh wow,
yeah.
at like
wow,
14, and so, and I was just like, yeah, no, absolutely not.
right,
How about I get out of high school? How about that? How about I
yeah.
get out of high school and then figure everything out? But
What kept you? What
fine,
kept
don't get
you?
me caught up.
Was it ballet or just like, other activities that kept you focused?
Well, I think I'm a bit of a contrarian anyway.
Mm,
So how everyone else was trying to be so attractive to guys, I was just like, yeah, that's, but then you just end up pregnant. Like I really couldn't like connect the
yeah,
dots,
Yeah.
but it was a little black and white-ish.
right,
It sounds like you didn't need the self-esteem. Your self-esteem wasn't so low that you needed another person, like a guy, to say, "Oh, how beautiful
right.
you are." You knew that already.
Yeah, well, yes, and I'm profoundly awkward. I mean, I'm profoundly awkward. So I think that there was a sense of me being comfortable with being comfortable, with my awkwardness, and really not needing any validation, because I was always made fun of.
So
You
guys were like, "Yo, short it." You're like, "Yeah, I'm just right. I'm short. I'm really short."
powerfully short. So yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it was less, maybe a mixture of self-esteem, but definitely just me knowing that I've always been awkward, and you know, they were probably looking for somebody cool, and I was not cool, and you know what? I have some shit to do, so why waste my time? Goodbye.
I hear you. No, hey, that's awesome. That's fantastic. I've had a couple of friends from my high school and also from college. They've went to LA, and I think one, like Crystal Rivers, she was in Do the Right Thing, and I've seen a couple of my classmates have little appearances in movies. But they've always told me about the casting couch, or how slimy LA can be. Have you had to go through any of that, like the casting couch, or dealing with, I don't know, just unscrupulous directors and producers and things like that?
I feel like there have been pitfalls that I have avoided, that I've seen ahead of time and thought, this doesn't seem legit, so no, and fortunately I haven't, it's like I vaguely remember like a handful of times since I've been down here. It's been 18 years. It's insane. I've been down here for that long. But I feel like I vaguely remember like a handful of times that, I was just like, yeah, no, smarmy. Because the other side of Hollywood's reputation is that it's smarmy, so there are these things that you kind of like expect, Right. This audition is happening at your house. Right. Okay.
There you go. There's the red flag.
So, and, again, not being desperate, of course, that's just something, I'm not gonna, go for.
Right.
So has there? No, but, we get into our, circles here as African Americans, and we console each other, on hey, you had that experience. Hey, yeah, you had that experience too. And a lot of it is shit like, can you do this a little bit more urban?
Oh wow. God, yeah.
I mean, it's which I hope that people don't still do that. But, it's definitely there. Or a really big one, you're a Black woman with your natural hair,
right.
You sitting down. I have gotten, oh, okay, yeah, no, it's fine.
Wow.
They don't know. So, no, I haven't been, sexual.
Still there? Everybody still there?
Like I'm not stopping anybody's traffic. They are speeding up, if anything. So, but there are other things, which, again, just trying to put a positive spin on this. I sincerely hope that there will be more chances for regular Black women like, me. I can't pass for anything but Black, so I'm not racially ambiguous. That's a big thing down here. It's a big thing down here. When they want to cast a Black person, they'll get someone who's racially ambiguous. Will, where'd you go?
Yeah, he flashed in and out. But I hear the racially ambiguous, as if, let's get a Black face in there, but forget about your personality, forget about, any character or, let's say your story. We'll just, get a Black face in there. I hear you.
Well, not just that. Let's just make them not too Black,
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I think, better for men, but for Black women with 4C hair, it has been dicey. And I'm so glad that someone like Issa Rae, made a whole webisode, got eyeballs, and, funding to, because we were thirsty to see ourselves.
Yeah.
4C, regular ass body, awkward as fuck. We're just normal people, and now she's in her fourth season.
I mean, to me,
she's the only one. She's the only one.
I would love to see also a show that just shows people, like, not being ultra Black or ultra whatever, but just being who you are. Like, you're a teacher, a fourth grade teacher, or you're whatever, and I think Hollywood is too afraid to not caricaturize, people of color.
Yeah.
Because I see white people being white people.
I think it's deeper than that. It's not just that they're afraid, they don't understand. It's like we're aliens. Like they don't understand outside of the stereotype.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think about I think it was in the 90s. There was, when Stella Got Her Groove Back, there was Alice Walker, Beloved. That was the first time I saw Thandie Newton. And
Oprah produced that.
Waiting to Exhale. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Beloved, I believe Oprah produced that.
Yeah.
We've had to do shit ourselves to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Color Purple. That's another one. I mean, it was a wonderful moment where you saw all these black women and stories about black women, and not just as I mean, when Stella got a groove back, she was seesawing between, a couple of women, or she just need to let her hair down and have a vacation, waiting to exhale. Um, yeah, you had really some wonderful things. So I'm waiting to have that sort of explosion, not just a black artist. I mean, Issa Rae is wonderful. Issa Rae is fantastic, but there's
Yes.
got to be more. Like, you deserve to have your
There
story
is more.
told.
There is more, and there has been more. And like I said, we will see. We will see. The hope is real, and we've had these awesome examples of people going it alone, putting out webisodes. That is still happening. I mean, in bigger picture, we'll see how long everybody has to wear a mask. I mean, nobody, black, white, purple, nobody knows how the heck we're going to film through our masks.
Right.
Yeah.
So whether it be big productions or small independent ones.
Yeah.
I've actually seen. Have you seen those commercials though? I mean, they're not showing them as much, but all those shelter-in-place commercials were being shot during this time. So I'm wondering, how did they get away with all that production during COVID time?
I have done at least one audition where I've had to shoot here. I mean, I've had to shoot in side,
Oh,
and I've seen a few audition postings that have said, if you are selected, use your equipment.
oh wow.
You'll be guided. So I mean, people are trying it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. We will see. But the good thing is that this time, back to your original question, your first question, this time is promoting, I think, a lot of material across the board, whether it be whether it be fine arts or performing arts. People are writing for sure. And just on a personal note, I'm less skeptical about being really, really black in Hollywood.
Hmm.
There's always this kind of line I have felt that I've needed to, walk, definitely coming from the Bay. It's funny because whenever I do go back home, which I'm going back home next week,
Ooh,
hopefully I'll see
yeah.
only for like 4 days, but still, when I go back home, people are like, "Oh my God, you're so LA," and I'm just like, "You have no idea how much I stick out here. You have no idea." So, freaking going to parties, parties plural, people, I don't even have to say anything. They're just like, "You're not from here." Huh? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
So I feel really comfortable, in my auditions, in my, self tapes, wearing my natural hair, because I feel like I am trusting what these platforms are saying. You're saying that the way I look is now acceptable. I
Right.
just have to see the proof.
Yeah.
Right.
But at least I feel more comfortable.
Yeah. So that reminds me of a funny story. So I worked in, just before I left Washington, D.C., I worked for a place called Corporation for National Service. And it was a federal government agency. And there was a black woman. Her name was Jackie, I want to say, it doesn't matter what her name is, but in any case, she looked a lot like Michelle Obama. She had long straight hair, and she was hobnobbing with the corporate executives, and doing all this stuff. So flash forward, I moved here in 1997, and I'm chilling in Oakland. I live on Piedmont Avenue, and I stuck into this yeah, that's right. And I tuck into this black coffee shop, and there's this woman with an afro, and she's got like cut up jeans or whatever, and it was the same woman. And she was like,
Wow.
hey, what's up? And she gave me a hug, and she was like, man, I'm so happy to have my natural hair and not have to put on this mask to deal with these corporate executives. And it told me an interesting story. The things that we do to, it's the story of assimilation. And, whether we assimilate, how much we remain real to ourselves. This is a conversation that's been going on since Booker T. Washington, W.B. Du Bois in 1900. Since Richard Wright and James Baldwin argued about it in the 20s and 30s. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., how much do you assimilate? How much do you fight? How much do you not fight? Even Ta-Nehisi Coates and Dr. Cornel West, they debated about it. So it continues on.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I mean, bigger picture, it's about survival.
Yeah.
Like you still need to work. You still need to eat. The landlord does not take an IOU. Neither does the bank.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
and it's harder for us because we do walk in very different spaces than the majority. And so when we're passionate about our art and our craft, what else can we do? We can't, unless we make it on our own. We create our own stuff, which is what a lot of these talented producers and directors are trying to do. So again, I really call out all these guys to start creating some kind of, the Bay Area has so much room for that. We could be creating a music label or film label or film production companies and,
One of my dreams is to have a Brill building of the West Coast, just to have a little, production right here on the West Coast where we just bring in all sorts of artists to, produce music, or even a Bay Area sort of Hollywood. I mean, it doesn't have to be Hollywood, but, just a film production company here in the Bay Area. And I think we'd have some wonderful things. Speaking of which, Jamela, so tell me about your play. So you, what did you write?
The play is called Therapy, and it pertains to a conversation that is specific to the Black community that I'm just basically putting on display.
Wow.
It's interesting because it's kind of in code. And I'm just really curious how it's going to be received because I didn't write it for a white audience on purpose. So I'm just curious. There's actually, thank you for so much. There's this man who's very prominent in the playwriting, not playwriting, but in the theater field. Actually, he and I need to have a Zoom meeting because he read it. He was just like, there's a lot there, and let's definitely talk about it. But COVID, Rona happened, Rona Marines, so I like to call her, and that didn't happen. So it's therapy. Let me try to boil it down.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's okay. I'll try to wrap it up. It's about. It's a conversation. I'm not presenting something and trying to solve it. I'm stirring a conversation. And what you see is a Black man in a Black family that has chosen to align his personal life with whiteness, basically, to get ahead. Period. He is a successful lawyer and, he has married a white woman, and he has a biracial child. And, his family, without giving it away, his family has known, that he's one of those Black men that are like, whatever, we have Black History Month,
Right.
But they don't know how deep that his personal psychology actually goes until they find out. And I don't let everybody find out until the very end. And I don't clean it up. I just leave it.
Wow. No, that is awesome. I would love to. And, I hope if I heard a break again.
Do you see me?
Yes, I do see you. I do see you. Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, if you know, if you do a reading, you know, there've been a bunch of folks doing Zoom readings. I would love to be an audience to that. But no, it sounds deep. It would remind me so much of Lanford Wilson's The Gingham Dog. I mean, I know it's your original idea, and The Gingham Dog has nothing to do with therapy, but you have actually a black woman and a white man married in the '60s, and they think, well, we can have a post-racial relationship, and everything will
Oh,
be just fine. But as the play goes on, they start dealing with these racial issues, and they realize they're
wow,
not on the same page, and they literally get into a fight. And
wow,
one of the fights is about their child, because the woman's like, "No, my child is black," and the man is like, "No, no, 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 no. Wait, you know, it's biracial, and you can't cut out my, you know, identity."
right, right, right,
Jamila,
right.
Jamila, are you there? I'm sure she'll. If
Yeah.
she's. Oh, you are there. Okay, great.
Can you see me?
So yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it sounds like it's a. Can you go ahead and speak again?
Hello, hello.
There we
Hi.
go. We do see you. We do see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not, no, your play is something that I would love to, because you know, and Will and I have been talking about therapy and how we need to check in our psychology, because, you know, we can get out of the ghetto, but sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, we can be scarred. And
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, and over assimilation is a
Well,
real thing.
well, it's funny because this is sort of my life right now. I'm married to a French woman, and we have multiracial babies, and when all this stuff started happening, I mean, when Trayvon Martin happened, I was in France. I was in Brittany. And so I came downstairs like, I can't believe they killed this. You know, I'm like, and they're looking at me like, oh, we're about to sit down for crepes and brie and baguettes. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like,
You didn't hit
I
them
felt
deep.
I felt alone. I felt no one understood what was happening. And I had to tell my wife straight up, like, you don't understand. I have a lot of like PTSD. I have a lot of stuff going on right now with all this crazy stuff happening. And we had to come to Jesus moment of like, how do we relate as different people, you know? And so,
But
yeah.
but how many black people are going through the same damn thing in France?
Oh, yeah, big time. Big
And
time.
is it being acknowledged? Is
Yeah.
it being felt?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
like this shit is all just over here.
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
They're
No,
killing us everywhere.
yeah. You know, the cool thing, oh, there's another explosion. But the cool thing about the United States, I mean, there are a lot of wrong things about the United States, but if a black person, if anything happens in the United States with a black person, there's the NAACP, there's the SCLC, there are all sorts of avenues that we can go, and we allow ourselves to be heard. You're absolutely right, Jamila. If a black person dies in France, you know, where's the protest? You know, where's the
Yeah.
outrage? If it happened in England, where's the outrage? I don't think there
And
would be any. Yeah.
and I guess, you know, the thing with if the US catches a cold, everybody else is, you know, catch the flu or the other way around, what have
Yeah.
you. Now we see protests in France, you
Yeah.
know, bringing up another black man, you know,
Hmm.
um, but I guess, it was like swept under the rug and it took George Floyd. Maybe it
Yeah.
took George Floyd. It took the US protesting, I mean, I would question, why weren't they concerned about Trayvon Martin? Like,
Hmm.
it's not like the same damn thing isn't happening over there,
Oh,
you
big
know?
time.
But I think you had it right. The video. There was the video where we actually saw it, and we actually heard George Floyd scream for his mother while he was dying.
Mercy.
And it's just, you know, it's amazing.
And I
Here's a
just think back then we questioned how could a person kill a 14-year-old kid without that 14-year-old kid being a monster. And
yeah,
we connected black boys and black people to being monsters or animals. And I think that's the most dangerous piece of this is we weren't given a human shape until we saw, all this other, snuff films on video.
yeah. Another question, Jamila. Do you feel it's unfair, or do you even care that Breonna Taylor and Sandra? And this is sort of the topic that I tried to get to earlier. Do you feel it's unfair that the Black women who have been killed are not getting the sort of attention that the Black men are?
Yes. And I do remember protests over Sandra Bland. I also remember, videos of, other, brutal. I also remember other videos that were brutal, not resulting in murder, but of other Black women. And definitely no protest or, vitriol. Yet, we all have vitriol, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, we all, shared them on Facebook and, we're like aware. But bigger picture, yes, I do think that the murdering and the brutalization of Black women are being in some ways looked over.
And even trans women or trans people as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Yes, big time. And it's interesting because in my play, I mean, I kind of touch on just how, I mean, really, I single out Black men who, I mean, and not overtly, but in this one particular character, this, particular character, I'm sorry, I have gnats. But this, one Black character is just like, what's the big deal? Y'all act like y'all the most people suffering,
Mm.
So I mean, if, like, I wonder how important, like, in general, are we as visibly Black women, how important are we to Black men? I mean, I still just wonder, if there was like a 1,000,000-man march, and, everybody had a placard representing Black women, or something, I think that would be huge. It would be so different. Not to say that there aren't plenty of, Black men out there, who, stand up for Black women, but there's a huge faction in the Black community where Black women are, I feel like, purposefully overlooked.
Yeah.
There's this is one thing, because it was like recent. There's a something, and I posted it on Facebook. There's I think a ball player, I guess. He chimed in on this discussion of Lupita Nyong'o, and
Yeah, the actress.
somebody
Fantastic actress. Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody was like, oh, she's beautiful, and what do you think of Black women? I'm paraphrasing, like how this actually came up, and he was like, yeah, she's all right with the lights off.
Ooh. Oh no.
Yeah.
Wow.
And not only did he go there, he was like, so like Black, like, what are we talking about? I think he said Gabrielle Union or like Tyrese Black. And this brother is brown skin, because, we talk about colorism. This brother was brown skin like me.
Wow.
He has, and then he doubled down like that was like the beginning. And then he doubled down. Yes, he got backlash, and then he apologized, but it's like, I've also seen other posts, of very brown skinned Black men really going in on Black women like we are trash.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. That's really, really interesting. I wanted to share a quick story. So my mom passed away in 2006. This is my biological mom. I have a second mom, and she's very close to me. Any case, my biological mom, she so in Washington, D.C., after Marion Barry became mayor, there was sort of a renaissance in D.C. where Black folks can actually get a job in the federal government and D.C. government, and we feel really, really, really strong. And my mom, she was very much into computers at a very early age, and so she learned how to use the Wang computer and the IBM in the 80s, and she was working for Henry Kissinger, and but I knew that she had to travel in the white world going to the job, and then she had to come back home and sort of be the sexy woman for my dad and also be the mom for me. And she was having trouble, and also she had to deal with sexual assault when she was a child, and she didn't have any closure over that.
Wow.
So she was going through a lot of psychological stuff, plus almost with computers, you partition a computer if you try to run two operating systems at the same time. And she was having a lot of issues. She eventually, to make a long story short, she basically died in 2006. She had drug and alcohol addiction, but I knew, just dealing with her, and I was her only child, she had to transverse herself through so many different universes and never really, I don't know if she knew who she was, but it's like, okay, am I sexy enough for my man? Am I being a good mother for my child? Is someone going to criticize me for this and that? Am I being a good worker? And it's really, really tough. And I think white women don't have a problem with that as much. Black men, we do it as best as we possibly can, but I really think it's an underground, it's something that isn't talked about, what Black women have to go through, especially in the corporate world.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Black women have a better job of maneuvering through those systems, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I think like you said, we do the best we can. You do the best you can. We do the best we can.
Yeah.
I can say, and I'm totally talking out the side of my neck right now, but in Hollywood, I think you have a better chance as a Black man.
Really?
Yeah.
And I mean, I sincerely hope that totally changes, but a dark skinned 4C hair Black man, because you have the Mandingo factor. Remember, you're seeing through a white gaze.
Yeah.
So,
think of Samuel L. Jackson. He was at one point the highest paid man, any man, in Hollywood at one point.
Wow.
Of course, they wanted him to be, Black. They wanted him to be, want to hear you say the F word and MF and all that sort of stuff. But also think about Hollywood. I mean, think about, when is the last time you've seen a positive or, a Black woman considered, the love interest, or, someone. I remember when I was growing up, Farrah Fawcett was everywhere. And I remember there were even baseball cards of Charlie's Angels. And my mom had the saddest look on her face. It's like, oh, okay, so that's who you're idolizing. But that's what we see on TV.
Right.
That's all. If that's all that's getting funding, because you can say, well, that's all we see. But there are all these other movies and all these other projects that POCs, not just Black people, but POCs in general, are writing and are producing. But what's getting funded?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's easier now because we have the internet. People have more eyeballs on YouTube and Instagram and all these other places. So if Pam Grier was happening right now, I think we would be a Pam Grier fan,
Yeah.
But I think because you had the white people had so much control over Hollywood back then, there was this much room for Pam Grier or for like whoever,
Yeah. I mean, I think about Nia Long. I mean, Nia Long had a very good run, and I'm like, well, where is she now? I mean, she's just as talented as an actress. Does it just have to be Halle Berry? I mean, there are plenty of really, really talented Black actresses out there that can be just as big as I'm trying to think of a white actress, but they should be just as big.
And I want to draw your attention to something very elusive. We have amazing Black actors, Black actors, Black actresses. We have amazing Black actresses and actors, in general. you know, that have been doing what they've been doing for a long time, you're really hard pressed to see somebody like Viola Davis.
There you go.
Mm.
African features, very dark skin.
Mm.
You're hard pressed. You're hard pressed to see somebody like Kerry Washington. You know, there was a talk I was listening to where, and I will paraphrase it, you know, even if you see, you know, Black male writers and producers as their love interest, she'll still be fair skinned.
Wow.
She'll be Black. She'll be Black, and that's awesome, and that is amazing.
Right.
Not too Black. No, and I mean, you know, I mean, and that's like controversial, but
Right.
you'll still be hard pressed to see somebody like who looks like Viola Davis, like Viola Davis. Mind you, Viola Davis is a master. Period. Hands down. Done.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be hard pressed. So it's, people don't understand the influence that someone like Lupita Nyong'o has.
Right.
You know, like people don't just seeing her, and that's something that is not spoken. There's the other actress. She was in Fear the Walking Dead. She was also in Black Panther.
Oh,
she was in a science fiction movie too.
Yes. People don't understand the unspoken of what these people feel like.
Yeah.
Just seeing them.
Also, Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson's killing it too.
Yeah.
For sure. Sorry, I have to look up that.
She was in Sorry to Bother You. She was also in Thor. She was she's an English actress, but and she's also in Westworld.
Yes.
Right along with Andy
Dynamite
Newton.
actress. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, one person I know that I'm just like a follower to the end of is Michaela Cole. Again, visually, without words, that it makes a difference. It doesn't just being Black, bruh. I mean, it's so complex. Like, we're so happy that we're in the room.
Yep.
And it's multifaceted. You know, can we see ourselves as we really are? Not just in this one little thing. Can we see ourselves as we are?
Right.
In all of our shades.
Yeah. Getting back to Viola Davis, I mean, when she did Fences, which was produced by Denzel Washington, it's an August Wilson play, she won that Academy Award. I believe she won Academy Award for Best Actress. There's this one scene where she is acting without saying any words. It's basically the scene where Denzel's character walks in the kitchen and says, "Hey, listen, I banged another woman. She's pregnant, and we got to take care of the child." And she has to go through all of these emotions without just absorbing everything. And it's so hard as an actor to just absorb and to act without speaking. And she did it. And I'm convinced that was that one scene that won her the Academy Award. You're absolutely right. You know, seeing that, I mean, a producer had to say, "Hey, listen, we're going to take a chance on you. We're going to take a chance on Tessa Thompson and Octavia Spencer." That's another one.
Yes, for sure. To Viola Davis, she's a master, period. You know, she's a master, period. And she and Denzel did Fences years ago on Broadway. You know, like everybody knew that she's a master, you know, and, you know, definitely when it came to Fences, of course she was gonna, you know, deliver. It's Viola Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that there was any chance taken. And there was definitely a lot of talk here in the Black community, you know, about her category, you know, for that award. And, you know, just kind of, you know, guessing on how that, I forget the specifics, you know, but, you know, she definitely deserved, you know, the Oscar, for sure. If I don't want to misspeak, but I feel like it wasn't for, you know what, never mind, because I feel like me even guessing is gonna like misspeak. But of course she deserved the Oscar, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
who do you think?
she was awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Will.
Who do you see right now as far as black women coming up? Like who's going to be the next big thing? Do you think?
Aside from
Bes-
you, could
Besides,
be
yeah, besides you.
That's challenging for me to say right now because I am one of those actors who I watch TV. Well, actually, no, I don't even have TV. I don't have TV.
Yeah, yeah,
I do have Netflix and Hulu. I still don't watch a lot of them
yeah.
just because I'm writing and I'm like full-time learning another language so I can start writing in that language. So like that's
Ooh,
just I don't have so much screen time.
yeah.
And I have to say that I'm one of those actors because for years I was like, what the hell? Why I should just carve out time, but there's actually a lot of us out there. There's a lot of us out there. So I unfortunately I can't have there's not a file that I can just be like, and then that actor, and then they did that movie. I don't have that.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
so, you know, the next big thing, there's so many people that Hollywood recognizes right now, because that's how they operate. Who can I
Right.
make money off of? Who is recognizable enough that's a guaranteed drawing crowds because it's about the money, you know.
Right, right.
Youngo, Kerry Washington. I did actually binge Little Fires. I think that's what it was.
Yes, I love
Um,
that. That was great.
yeah. You
That
know,
that actress, that young actress, the played Kerry Washington's daughter was really great.
mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah,
her
for
name.
sure, for sure. Um, you know, definitely I'm spacing on her name, but the woman that we were just talking about, uh
Michaela
and
Cole.
yeah,
And
she's in
she has an HBO series coming out.
oh
I may
nice.
destroy you. I am watching it right now. I just finished the third episode. She is raw. She is
Oh, it's
so
on already.
raw. I don't think the US is
Wow.
ready for Michaela Cole. She is
Wow.
raw.
Well,
I
I
love,
watched Chewing Gum on Netflix, which is a British show.
yep.
But now
I'm happy
they
at you.
brought her. Yeah. I mean, I think it's amazing. Now I'm seeing a lot of things opening up, like other avenues for black actors, like Quibi. People talking about Quibi, that network,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't
Yeah.
even know what that is, but
Really interested. Oh, you know, there's this one show you were talking about, you know, who I think is coming up. Oh my God. There's like so many actors. I mean, I'm not completely under a rock. The actors on Queen Sugar, you
yep,
know,
yep,
there's, you know, they're recognizable, you know, and can easily, you know, get more parts, you know, and open, you know, more doors. The Shy is something that's on my roster, on my schedule to
yeah,
sit down and like I have to make myself sit down and watch a monitor.
right.
That's definitely on my radar. The woman, what is her name? She won an award for best writing. Leah.
Huh.
Oh, I bet I think I know who. I can't think of the name.
Leah. She used to have locks, but she cut her hair.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can't think of the name.
what did she write?
No, it was for a uh uh come on, it's coming.
While you're looking, there's a young actress. I don't know if you guys saw Doctor Sleep. That's the Stephen King sequel to The Shining. But there was a black actress. She was a black girl, and boy, did she do an excellent job. I mean, she was almost, she carried the entire movie. So I don't know her name, but she was just awesome.
Wow.
Lena Waithe.
Oh
Lena,
yeah, of course, of course.
You
She's
know,
blowing up everywhere.
you know, so yeah. I don't know if I answered your question on who I think is like the next big thing. And see, that's just it. I really, really hope that we get out of, singling out specific people, because I mean that's part of the oppression.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's only one can slip through.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Aren't we
Exactly.
done with that? Aren't we done with that?
Yeah.
And
I'd like.
sometimes I question: is it the culture, or is it just that we do that with everybody? I mean, even with white actresses or white actors, I feel like we only pick like 2 or 3 can come through. It's only Brad Pitt and so and so.
I don't see that with white actors. I don't see that. I because there's so many movies
Right.
made about their experience.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel that we're just saturated with white, or the white experience.
And we're also used to it, so we're used to, it's like, if you're used to McDonald's, you don't know what a portobello mushroom is, so we're used to being like, well, who do you think is that one next thing? Because we're programmed to thinking there's only one door.
Right.
And hopefully now, like you were saying, with this, hopeful rise of this, Black Renaissance, it's a different story.
Yeah.
It's a completely different book. We just don't talk that way anymore. We just don't speak that way. Hopefully we don't speak that way anymore.
Yeah.
Amen.
I want to ask you, Jamila, and we're hitting the 1 hour mark. So, if we can wrap it up.
Hard. I'm like, didn't I just say 7 to 7:30? Wow. Geez.
I know. Hey, we're just having too much fun. I was going to ask you, do you have hope for 2020? I know we weren't going to talk politics, but I just want to get your feel on, what do you think will happen at the end of the year?
Thinking politics, or with,
well, like, will there be, will he be a one-term president? Who will be the vice president for Biden?
I think he is a one-term president, and I think that is, and this sounds so cynical, but it's completely true. I think because white people will vote him out. I think that the attraction in politics, has, it's twofer. You got to get the Black vote, which means Black women.
Right.
Yep.
And you got to get the progressives, So if you can swing the progressives, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a freak load of white folks out here in these protests all around the nation. I was in one not too long ago, and we all, and like I was surrounded in this like multicultural thing, we like blocked off a really prominent intersection, and that was cool. Then we got up and then started moving, and at a certain point I looked around and I was embarrassed. But I have to just say it. My thought was, wait, where are the Black people? Great, like Black Lives Matter. And it was just deep with all these like 20, 30 something white folks, which was wonderful. But I was like, where is my pod? Oh, I see one way over there.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's really interesting. It's both
but I still wonder, are all these people registered to vote? Now,
right.
in my heart, I want to say yes, and that they would be part of that progressive faction that's going to turn it. So yes,
because I believe a lot of those people didn't vote for Hillary, and that's why we have Trump.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that maybe the positive, I mean, if there's anything that positive that could come out of George Floyd's death, is that it's bringing out so many people. I'm really, when we talk about white folks who are marching for George Floyd, we have to understand there's a newer generation. This is not the older generation of white folks who have been so used to the establishment. Now there's a younger generation who are like, hey, we're the generation that grew up on the internet. We grew up, with Trayvon Martin, or we grew up with Barack Obama as the president. And when we see the death of George Floyd, it's not just oh, well, we're going to go out there and march. And that's a wonderful thing. I mean, as a black man, it's wonderful to know that someone cares about me. Someone cares about, it could have been me on the street or something like that. I have a feeling that if something were to happen to me, a bunch of people go to march for me. And the same thing for you, Will.
Yeah.
And I feel like the momentum has to keep going until November, because if we don't, there's going to be a lot of underhanded BS that's going to happen before now. And
Trump is going to try. Trump is going to. I mean, there's always mail-in votes. I mean, there's going to be a second wave of COVID-19 deaths, and there's going to be. Yeah. I really believe so. And Trump is going to try, they're mail-in votes. Well, I'm not going to concede as of yet. I'm going to wait until all the votes come in. And states are going to try to, it's going to be, I hope it doesn't wind up like 2000, where they took the election away from Al Gore and gave it to George W. Bush. I just hope that there'll be enough of a landslide for Biden that, it'll be out of the question that Trump has lost. But, he's going to try. I've had some progressive friends. They were upset with Biden winning. They wanted Bernie to win. And I had one friend of mine who's, I don't know, she's becoming not so much of a friend. She's like, well, I still believe in Tara Reid. I believe Tara Reid was, assaulted by Joe Biden. And, I don't know. There's not a lot of evidence towards that. But in any case, I hope the progressives will turn the corner and vote for Biden, and maybe George Floyd's death and the protests surrounding that will point people towards Biden.
Right. The progressives are the reason why Biden won.
Yeah, I believe that.
The progressives were not into Bernie and how radical he was.
So who do you think will be vice president? That's the good question.
I don't know who's going to be vice president. And this is just me being skeptical, real skeptical. I think that Biden and Biden's camp, I think that their hands are being twisted because they really wanted Amy Klobuchar.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that thing that Black people have with liberals and progressives. You're not really down for us. You're not really down for us, but you want our vote.
Right.
Hillary will put hot sauce in her bag. Bullshit like that.
Yeah.
So.
What? She didn't even say that?
Right. But, so once it started getting more publicized, about like Amy Klobuchar's, track record when it came to race relations, they had to have pressure. They had to have pressure in order to move. And then, I'm listening to NPR, and, there's some, skepticism on, well, maybe Amy Klobuchar said that she would drop out to make Elizabeth Warren look bad. Because Amy Klobuchar was like, yeah, I really think that you should have a woman of color. So it's like, are you for us or are you for you?
Right.
You just never really know. And so I think whomever is going to be more pleasing to the progressive camp. And that is a toss-up. I feel like as Black people in America, we're still, when it comes to that, higher echelon of government, we're still at their mercy, to a certain degree. Now the pendulum is nudging. Ain't no swinging happening. It's nudging. There's a Black former principal that just won.
Booker.
No.
No.
He just won. I just had it, but and I.
Oh, you got your hand over the microphone.
Oh,
there you go. We hear you now.
He just won a representative seat in New York, a Democratic seat.
Nice.
over a long time established older Caucasian man.
That's the same thing that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did. So
Same thing.
there's definitely something going on in New York. Go ahead.
Nudging ain't no swinging.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're so when it comes to the upper echelons of government, like specifically, the president and the vice president, I think a large part of the reason why Obama won was because of the progressives, and that and a good chunk of a good dose of white guilt,
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
And then after that, the progressives jumped. They were like, okay, well, we had your chance. That was a little scary.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the cool thing about Obama really was the first 21st century president. He used apps at a time where apps were new. I mean, 2008, he was elected. 2007 was when the iPhone first came out. And, he used apps. And David Plouffe and David Axelrod really used the internet to promote and to recruit and to get young people to recognize Obama. And so that helped. And it also helped that he was a safe Black. He wasn't a scary Black person.
Right.
Visually appealing.
Exactly. Squeaky clean.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And look how Michelle Obama was treated.
Wow. Yeah.
Look how she was treated. Brown skin, constantly criticized on her hair, what she was wearing.
Yeah.
Her
arms.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her shoulders. Yeah.
I just saw a video of Trump coming back from Tulsa. He was coming off the helicopter, shirt unbuttoned, no tie, raggedy suit. He was hunched over like this, walking around. I'm like,
makeup on the collar.
You talking about the fact Obama wore a beige suit? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
no one mentions that Michelle Obama is the most educated first lady the country since its invasion has ever had.
Both of those guys, Harvard law professor,
Ivy League schools.
Exactly.
Harvard and Princeton. Nobody wants to talk about that, but I have seen those pictures of people photoshopping a little bulge to say that she's a man. I mean, the things he has gotten, the things from other Black people too. I remember having an old hairdresser. He was like, I don't like her eyebrows. I don't like her hair. Just like, wow.
It's just ridiculous. And remember, she taught Obama. She was I think when Obama, when he joined a law firm, I think she was his boss.
Right.
So the fact that they found each other, I'm so grateful for, and the fact that he rose to the status that he has, I just feel like was like divine intervention.
Yeah, I really do. To answer your question, Will, I think so. There's a woman named Val Demings who is a member of the House of Representatives, and she's a former police chief at Orlando. And I get the vibe that I think that Biden wants a vice president that he can sort of manipulate, or he doesn't have a problem controlling. And I think that will be a problem with Kamala. And also, a lot of progressives don't like Kamala at all for whatever reason. Also, Val Demings, she sounds like a preacher. I mean, I've heard her speak, especially during the Kavanaugh hearings and during the impeachment. As a matter of fact, she was very visible during the impeachment hearings.
Okay.
And she sounds like a preacher. And that's a plus on her part. And she's, I think she's right in that what do you call it, the comfort zone? Like Earth is within that, it's not too hot, it's not so close to the sun, not too far away. I think Demings is right there in the middle. So I wouldn't be surprised if Biden chose her.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, the discussions I've been hearing, we can't go out, so it's not like I'm talking to hordes of people at parties. So I'm talking to snippets of people, but mostly I'm listening to NPR, and the the heated discussions that I'm hearing is that, you know, there's a lot of skepticism around Val Demings because she worked for the police department, you know, and, you know, she upheld their values. Same thing with Kamala Harris. You know, she was with the, you know, she was the part of the Justice Department here in California.
Yeah, she was the Attorney General, and prior to that, she was the DA. She was my former
You're
boss.
a boss.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So, you know, that, you know, it's so, I mean, I just want everything to work out. I'm just like, I mean, I am hoping, I feel that the Democratic Party right now is having their hands twisted because they really didn't want a Black woman, you know? But I feel like they're being sort of forced. And should there be someone, I'm hoping that it's not someone who's a figurehead, you know, and, you know, easily manipulated, you know, as you suggest. But if that does happen, can't say that I'd be surprised, because I don't think that they want a Black woman, you know, anyway. It's just the sign of the times, and they're being, I think, so sort of socially pressured.
Interesting.
You know, is this Black woman going to stop him from saying stupid ass shit like, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I think he will continue to say stupid ass shit, and she'll be the person to clean it up.
Well, it sounds trivial to me, but one of the things they've been saying is that Biden is going to be one of the oldest presidents to ever be inaugurated if he gets voted in.
Yeah, and
so,
and people are worried that he may die. If he dies, then the vice president will be very, very important. So who knows?
There you
we
go.
may get a Black president.
What he was saying, okay, and then I have to go. But what he was saying was that, you know, he wants someone qualified and he wants someone young enough, you know, because you know, should, you know, something actually happen, you know, then blah blah blah, you know. But I'm who is the Black woman? She's on top. I'm just, all these names are just leaving me, and you know.
Yeah, it's Stacey, and I want to say Sandra.
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
I almost said Stacey Dash. I was like, whoops, that ain't the wrong Stacey. Anyway, go ahead.
Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
You know, grounded in her culture, grounded in herself, grounded in her identity. You know, she is extremely bright. You know, my thing is, will they think she has enough experience?
Right.
But I think they feel Kamala Harris and Val Demings has. But as far as like competence, you know, and someone who I would actually viscerally trust, Stacey Abrams.
Oh, of course. But I don't think the progressives.
I don't know. Because she's on the list.
Yeah.
I don't know the short list or the long list, but she's on, you know, a list.
Yeah, I hear you. And with that, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much, Jamela. Did you have a good time?
I did. Thank you so much for
inviting me.
I don't know if I was to ask questions. I don't, because I didn't ask any questions. So.
Well, you know, we want to talk about women, and so I guess I hope that we didn't bombard you with questions and all that stuff. But you know, we wanted to get your perspective on what's going on.
Or mansplain.
Correct in a lot of those things, but you know.
Yeah, we didn't want to.
I hope I didn't mansplain too many things.
Me either. Me either.
If so, it totally missed me.
Cool. Also, people should know. I mean, how can people get to learn about? Are you on the Internet Music IMDb?
I am on IMDb. Not a whole lot of credits. You know, I think my last credit was like last year. You know, but then like Rona happened in 2020, so that's my excuse.
Yeah. Well, how could people find you on Twitter, Facebook, that sort of stuff?
Instagram is what I would like to direct people to. It's Jamela, JAMELA _Asha ASHA. Like
right that. On.
That's
yeah. So if folks want to learn more about this fantastic actress and playwright or screenwriter, check out Asha. And Will, we wrapped up another one. We never know how these things go, but
It was great.
We always have great discussions.
Yeah, we had 20 people 2 weeks ago. Now we got one. It was still as amazing.
Right on. Well, folks, you're watching this via YouTube or via Facebook. So, but for those who want to listen to the audio version, we'll have this on pretty much any podcast that you listen to your podcasts on. We're on Spotify, the Apple Podcast app. If you're an Android user, you can look at soundcloud.com and you'll find us. That's it. Will, I'll see you hopefully next week. And you hopefully your family, take care of your family and all that sort of stuff. And Jamela, it was wonderful meeting you.
Stay black, everybody.
Stay black, stay healthy, and stay safe. Take care.
Peace out. Good job, Reg.
Right on.